Alright, welcome. If you're new to the channel, my name is Elliott and you're watching Rickety Ski Reviews. Today we're going to be answering your questions. I apologize, this week we are a little bit lighter on the content, but my good friend Zach from the channel, he had his bachelor party, which is more biking than, you know, maybe the stereotypical bachelor party. We're all middle-aged dudes, so it's like... oh, I'm headed to bed. But yeah, we had a great time biking in Bend, Oregon. If you ever get a chance, it is a very cool area for mountain biking. We did one day at the Gravity Park up at Mount Bachelor. We did several days of back and forth biking. So the stuff that would normally be in the pipeline that gets edited later isn't there. Anyway, we're a little light this week, but that's okay. That's okay. You know, I've kind of been trying to get stuff done here in preparation for winter so I can go all in on winter content with you guys because there is some exciting stuff happening. I've had a few companies reach out about sending skis. I think we're gonna have a wider variety of ski reviews for this winter. But without further ado, let's answer your questions. Let's see what you guys asked and see if I can help you out, because right now is when skis are the cheapest. This is the time to buy. So I'd rather help you guys out than worry about anything else. So let's jump right into the questions. Okay, the first comment comes from Aaron Johnson 4573. Would a QST 98 be a good daily driver for Colorado? Only wanting to buy one ski. Oh, that is a really good question. I do think if you're gonna go with a mid-width ski, QST 98 is one of the better ones, and it's probably gonna give you a lot more powder variety than some of the other mid-width skis. But let's be honest, for a daily driver, you could do it, I guess. I wouldn't personally. I kind of like the 93 millimeter width and under for a daily driver. I just feel like the majority of days, that's a better ski. Colorado, I have skied a handful of times. When I ski raced, we would go over because that's kind of in our conference. I've skied at Steamboat Springs, A Basin, and I think a couple others that I can't remember. But anyway, I'm only kind of familiar with Colorado skiing. I believe it's pretty similar to Idaho, but I you know, just gonna give you that grain of salt. I wouldn't. If I was looking for a daily driver safe bet, I would go with the QST 92. I think that they do a really good job in powder. It just depends on how many days a year you're gonna ski. If you're only visiting Colorado for like a trip for a week or two, sure, QST 98 would be really good because then you're gonna be able to enjoy the powder if you're going there and trying to like plan it around storms. If you live in Colorado, I would probably go with the QST 92 and then just kind of get by on some of the smaller bits of powder. I really don't recommend a one ski quiver. I get that like financially people do that, but the problem is once you get the QST 98, well then your next ski is gonna be a powder ski and then there's not enough difference between that and the powder ski. What I would do is get a QST 92, have fun on that, get like the light powder days when you're on that, and then move to a QST 106 once you've saved up. I know people wanna just have one pair of skis, but I wouldn't want to ski on 98s all the time. Can you do it? Sure. I just think it's a little bit harder on your hips and a little less comfortable if you're trying to get a high amount of mileage. Whereas if you're just visiting Colorado like a week or two out of the year, sure, QST 98s will be perfect because no matter what, you're gonna be able to have fun on them. But if you're gonna put 30, 40, 50 days on a pair of QST 98s, I'd rather be on the QST 92s. They're more comfortable, it takes less effort to go edge to edge, and the QST 92s really do punch above their weight class when it comes to flotation in the powder. So that's my recommendation. Do whatever you want. I'm not your dad, but my recommendation in general. All right, in a similar vein, we have Raking Claw 4. They say, I don't really need a dedicated powder ski where I'm at, but being 5'7", 135 pounds, I've always been curious if I needed a 100+ millimeter ski to achieve ideal float. The wider a ski gets, the more awkward it feels in terms of them clanking together, as I feel I actually need to widen my stance. You're not off base, that's definitely true. So this season I hope to test my theory with the Serpo 93 as it's got more rocker than the Camo 97mm. Yeah, there's a lot of other elements that go into a ski other than just underfoot foot width is just kind of a common language we can all speak, but there's a lot that goes into it. There's shape, there's splay from the tips, there's a lot of different elements. There's like what the skis are made out of when it comes to wood. That's why you see a lot of those backcountry skis that can go in powder. They have different characteristics than a more sandy powder ski like the QST or the Atris. So it really just depends on what's good for you and what you actually need. Like if you're not that worried about being out on the 5 to 10 powder days a year that you're gonna have at your home mountain, it also depends on where you are, obviously. But I mean, whatever's working for you, there's no substitute. Like I can tell you, oh, you'd be having more fun on this. It's like, well, if you're having fun, then what do I know? Everybody's different. What everyone enjoys works differently for them. I know for years I had my Atomic Vantage 90 Ti's, and it's just like, I was just getting back into skiing. I didn't have a lot of money, and it's just like, that's what worked. And on a big powder day, was it ideal? No, but I made them work and I had a lot of fun. So do what's best for you. I think the biggest takeaway is just experiment. If you have local shops that do demos on a powder day, maybe try some stuff out and then bring your normal skis, because then you're only out 45 bucks or whatever they charge. And then you're like, okay, I don't like these. I'm gonna go back to my normal skis. But I will say that just when you get into some of those wider skis, like a Headcore 105 and Atomic Bent 110, you're working a lot less to stay up. With a lot of the more traditional all-mountain skis, you're gonna have to lean back and fight harder to keep your tips out of the snow and crashing. With a wider powder ski, there's just a lot less work and more focusing on your line and enjoying the snow. But I don't know, you don't use them that many times out of the year. If you're only skiing like 1 or 2 powder days a year, it's probably more economical even just to rent them or demo them. Until you find something that you really love, and then buy it in the summer. So that's how I buy things. I know it's maybe not the most like, oh, ski influencer or whatever, but that's how I do it, and that's how I'd recommend somebody do it. If it's working for you, what's the old saying? If it's not broke, don't fix it. But I would, encourage you to just experiment with different ski types, because there are so many good skis out there now that I really, feel like you could be missing out if you don't try stuff. All right, next comment is Nico Demwalak 9286. They say, most consistent real person in the ski space. Keep it up, brother. Would love to see you review bent 90s if you ever have a chance. Thank you, Nico. That's a very nice comment. I mean, that's really what I strive for. I know that I'm maybe not the best businessman or the best at like, monetizing this, but I really more just want to like make the kind of content I would want to watch. So that's always my metric for success. I really try not to be too focused on like, oh my gosh, I have this many subscribers and I've got this much, this, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I'm just like, would I watch this? I love skiing. I love ski content on YouTube. Would I watch this myself? And if the answer is no, then I like retool for the next video. So I really appreciate your comment. It's nice to know that at least for you, it's mission accomplished, because that's really what I strive for. As far as reviewing the bent 90s, I'm open to it. I'm open to really test any ski that I can get my hands on. The bent 90s can be a little bit trickier to find at my demo shops. I don't believe they carry them. Every year they kind of change what they carry, so maybe this year will be different. I'm totally open to it. If Atomic wants to send a pair, I'm 100% down to try them. I have heard that the bent 90s are a little bit more freestyle oriented, which is why I haven't gone out of my way to get them. But I think this year, if I find them at the shop, I'd be totally down to try them. It would be very interesting just to see how they contrast to the bent 100s, bent 110s, etc. I'm also really trying to find a pair of bent 120s, just because none of my shops carry them, and I have not been able to test them, and Atomic has been mostly unresponsive. So that and the Atomic Maverick 115 CTI are also on my radar. There's a ton of Atomic skis I want to try, but we'll just have to see if I can find them. All right, the next comment comes from Cali X from the Worst Ski Yet Armada ARV 100 ski review. They said, someone is not getting free Armada skis. Smiley face. Have you tried Nordica Unleashed 98? That's very funny. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what happens when you make reviews that are not based on getting free stuff. All of my reviews are 100% honest. They are 100%, this is what I think of the ski. Here are the goods, here are the bads. I think the Armada ARV 100 is in a tough spot because it's just trying to do way too much. It's way over promising on what it can actually deliver when it comes to a powder oriented ski. If you're a freestyle skier and you like it, that may be a whole different audience, but for me, I really had a miserable time. And when you have like limited powder days, it's frustrating to get on a ski that doesn't deliver that way. But yeah, I mean, I don't care if Armada doesn't want to send skis. Eventually I'll run out of Armada skis to review and then I'll just stop covering them. I don't know, but as long as I can get my hands on a pair of skis, if I have to go into a dumpster, if I have to go to whatever demo shop, I will test them. But I don't know. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say positive things to get free stuff. I got kids. I got enough junk anyways. I do not need more free stuff. I really only care about reviewing skis so I can give you guys my honest opinion about them. And for a lot of brands, I keep the skis partially just so I can do side-by-side comparisons, or like the Peak skis, I was able to test them at different mounting points. It's more for accuracy, it's more for thoroughness rather than free stuff. It does kind of help offset the production costs, but that's not my primary thing. So yeah, I don't know. I don't make reviews to get free stuff. I really could care less. I'm a very kind of minimal guy. And a lot of stuff, like when I do get free stuff, I end up like giving it away. I think I gave the Peak 104s to Zach. I've got some sunglasses I'm reviewing that I'm gonna give to Zach. I don't know, I'm not a guy that likes a lot of stuff. I like stuff that works well. Like if my goggles get scratched, I'll replace them. But other than that, I'm not like, oh, well, I need different goggles for different occasions. It's like, no, I want to test stuff. I want to see what works well. And then when I find something that works well, I'll personally buy it and stick with it. That's kind of how I've landed on Look bindings and stuck with them over these years. I mean, I've tested other stuff, but I've had Look perform the way I wanted it to when I needed to release or when I needed to not release. And it's a brand that I trust and that I think is well made. So I'm pretty loyal. Even my hairstylist, I have a hairstylist that is a friend who does a phenomenal job, gives me the best haircut of my life every time. They have been away traveling for a year, and I've been cutting my own hair for the last like 9 months. And I'm super excited for them to come back, and I'll go back to them, but I didn't want to feel like I was being disloyal to them. So I've just got my own kit of clippers that I had over COVID, and I've been trimming my own hair. It doesn't look as good as the job she does, but I don't know, I don't mind learning a new skill and being patient and waiting because she does a good job. I don't know, I'm getting a little off tangent, but you know what I mean? Like when something is designed well and it does a good job, I want to go with that. I don't make this stuff so I can get more stuff. I mean, right, you can only ski on one pair of skis at a time anyway, so I don't know. If Armada doesn't want to send me skis, that's okay. I'm not going to lose any sleep at night. I mostly just want to try skis to be thorough. I want to be able to say, okay, I've tried as many skis as I can, and I'm giving you guys the most accurate information I can. But I have no ego attached to, look at all the skis I have in the shed. It's like, all I see is clutter. Unless I'm actively skiing on them every day. Anyway, that's a long tangent. No, I have not skied the Nordica Unleashed. I've only been able to get my hands on the Nordica Enforcer. Nordica has also been dodging me, same with Blizzard and Salomon. So I have not been able to review the Unleashed, but I would really like to, again, to give you guys more accuracy. If I see a pair at the demo shop, I absolutely will. And if Nordica ever wants to step up, I will 100% review their skis. All right, the next comment says, what would you use if you'd like to do some backcountry skiing and hitting the slopes? Bit of ascent and bit of resort, 94 to 102. That's a great question. I've only tested a handful of backcountry skis, so take that for what it's worth. But if it were me, I would probably go with the Atomic Backland 102. I felt like those were extremely light. The Horizon Tech is really working well with the powder. They're not very sendy powder skis, but in the backcountry that's almost better because they're more forgiving. If you make a wrong turn and you need to kind of shuffle across the hill, they're gonna do that really well. Again, this is coming from someone who's only tested 2 or 3 backcountry skis, and I don't think any of them are particularly great on the resort, but the Backland 102s that I took on the resort and in the powder were really fun, and I think that's a solid recommendation. You could also, if you're looking wider, I really like the Draco Freebirds. Those were also very light and did really well with on-trail skiing, but that wasn't in the range you said, so Either of those I think are great options though. But again, there's no ski that does everything perfectly. You're always making sacrifices in one way or another. But, you know, if it was me and I had to, gun to my head, buy a backcountry ski, it would probably be the Backland 102 by Atomic. I think that's a really nice ski. It's not as sendy in the powder. I would be wishing I was on a QST 106 or a Bent 110 on big powder days. But if if you're gonna climb up with it, Backland 102 makes a lot of sense. So anyway, that's the end of this video. If you like this kind of content, please consider liking and subscribing. That's a free way to support the channel. If I helped you purchase any skis, please use the affiliate links down below. I'll put links for all the skis I talked about. Even if you're buying a different pair of skis and you click on one of those links, it'll track you for 30 days. So anyway, if you're gonna buy skis anyway, it doesn't cost you any money and it directly financially supports this kind of content. So please consider doing that. But as always, more than anything, just thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my videos. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. See ya.